Hey guys, how's it going? It is Josh Lloyd here. We are ready for a good old-fashioned pre-game show. Good to have you guys here. Haven't done a pre-game show since before the All-Star break, so yeah, it's been a while. Good to have you guys here, whoever is here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hitting that thumbs up if you've done that already. I always will appreciate that. And we've got the 4 games to look at today. A bunch of injury updates just dropped. The Hawks have sent AJ Griffin to the G League. Man, they just hate this guy, don't they? Why do they hate him so much? Yeah, that's wild. Anyway, what else is going on? Just checking other injury reports. Oh, LaMelo ruled out for Tuesday. That's a shocking development, that is. Zion and CJ McCollum both questionable. Isaiah Livers out for the season. Cool. Played 0 games for the Wizards. Brogdon with saying he's reevaluated today. Elbow tendonitis, making good progress. He'll continue to ramp up with anticipated return to action. Cool. That tells us nothing. So that's awesome. I don't know why they would bring him back. I don't know if they'll bring him back. That's just a annoying update. Thanks for nothing. Let's get ahead and have a look at the lineup page. See what we need to take a look at there. Nothing has been confirmed yet. We're waiting on all teams. The only injury status we're waiting on, though, is Ben Simmons, who they're still listing questionable. I will be very surprised if Ben Simmons plays, but they are listing him questionable. At the moment, again, doesn't make a ton of sense to me that would be what they're doing, but it is what they're doing. Again, hello, everybody. Good to see all you guys here. Yuri's here. Matt Carmody's here. Tiberius is here. Ryan Porteous is here. Who else names do I recommend? Jaime Contreras. Nectarios. I know all you guys. Good to have you guys here. Anyone else who I don't know, I apologize. Instant Action says, my season ends March 17th. Does that make Trae Young a clear drop? Yeah, like he's not going to be back for March 17th. So yes, very clearly. Very clear. Do I think Julius Randle will come back this season? I think it's probably a 50-50 proposition at this point. Do I think Rozier plays tomorrow? I actually would be... I was surprised they listed him questionable for today, Tiberius. I think it's unlikely he plays tomorrow, but I wouldn't rule that out. It is concerning that Zion had a week off and he's back with questionable status. Not really. They're listing him questionable every game at the moment. I'm not even reading anything into this. They're just putting him on that injury report every single day. He just played a back-to-back. I'm not that worried about that. Was Vince Williams the best waiver pickup of the season? I guess it depends what you want to class as that, because Jalen Johnson's been better. Is pods an auto drop when Chris Paul is back? No, I'd like to see one game, and then we'll judge it from there, I think. Angela, hello. Why do I preach that you shouldn't be worried about shutdowns when you always give predictions about which players may get fake injuries down the stretch? Mike, this is what I say. You shouldn't worry about shutdowns because if you set your playoffs correctly, it doesn't impact you. Right? If you set them to end March 24th, you shouldn't have any problems with that. My thing is that when people go into a draft season at the beginning of the year or in November and they're trying to make decisions and deals based on shutdowns that people think happen to everybody and they think happens in January, that's what's garbage. Right? That's not what happens. So when you're trying to make those, I'm going to avoid this team because of this, I'm going to avoid this because of this, that's a garbage thing because you never know what's going to happen during the season. We are here 7 weeks away from the end of the NBA regular season, 4 weeks away from the end of some playoff fantasy seasons. Now we can start to sort of dig in and see what's going to happen because when you get more of that data, it becomes more apparent. But again, usually if you set it so your league doesn't go to the final 3 weeks of the season, you should be relatively okay. And there'll only be handfuls of guys, and each week, the closer you get to the end of the regular season, the more guys that sit out. But trying to plan for that in October is silly. They're listing Ben Simmons as a game time decision. Just, what are you doing? What are you doing? Just sit him out. Am I worried about Heroes and the injury? They seem to think it's nothing serious, but that stuff can always linger. It's not a long-term thing, but I would be a little surprised if he plays tomorrow. You assume that Isaiah Stewart should be back tomorrow? Yeah, I think that's a fair assumption. What do I think about a DeLon stream tonight? Well, they've got no one else, so hopefully they play him. They haven't played him yet. So I would think he's probably worth that, yes. Do I think Wiggins loses value with Chris Paul's return? Not really. When do you think you should start holding Mitch Robinson before he comes back? I don't think I'd bother with it, honestly. Unless you've got open IL slots, I'm not really convinced that Mitch Robinson's going to be super impactful. When he comes back, I think he'll come back as a 20-minute a night player. And not really impact much. Is it safe to assume that LaMelo is out for the rest of the season? No. I don't think he's out for the rest of the season. I just don't know when he's coming back. Raptors will start quickly. Trent, Barrett, Barnes, and Pirtle, same starting lineup for them. Cool. Josh, some of my league wants to go back to Yahoo from Fantrax, and I'm dreading having to be the last pick and being demolished by Jokic, Wemby, and Embiid. I don't really understand what that has to do with Yahoo or Fantrax. It sounds like your league mates are babies, and they want to play in an inferior format, but I don't get what that's got to do with anything. What does Jokic, Wemby, and Embiid have to do with Fantrax or Yahoo? I don't get it. Gibbo, that sounds like a pretty good time. Oh, it's Michael Bolton's birthday today, is it? Let's have a look. Michael Bolton birthday. Yep, well, it was actually yesterday for me, which is the 26th. That's 26th for you guys in the States. So, yeah, happy birthday, Michael Bolton. There you go. I'm still on board for Jalen Wilson latter parts of the season. Yeah, they've taken him out of the rotation, which is really frustrating. So, I do think that it'll come up towards the end of March. Shaq 2K, what are your thoughts on intentionally tanking as the first seed this week to influence the matchup for the first week of playoffs? Is it a scummy move? This question comes up every single year. Nothing wrong with it. Some people might claim that it's a scummy move. Where I think it's scummy is if one of your mates comes to you and go, hey, if you lose this, it gets me into the playoffs. Can you do that for me? That's what I don't like. If you're doing it strictly because you like how it influences your playoff matchups, nothing wrong with that in my mind. Like, that's just gamesmanship. That's just strategy. It's if someone goes, I'll give you $20 if you lose this week so I can get into the playoffs. That's shifty. What is the best case stat set for Taylor Hendricks if he starts getting 30 minutes? Best case, 15 and 9, 1.5 blocks, 1.5 threes, 1 assist, 0.8 steals, 48%, and 75, I'm guessing. It means third round reversal won't be an option. They also won't want to try auction drafts either. They're telling me this now versus way next year.